Hi, I'm Derek, a nutrition student at NUNM. If you've seen our other videos, you may recognize me from Sarah's lesson on useful ways to reduce food waste. Here's a clip. I mean, it's really, really good.
Nothing wasted. Thanks, Derek.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, actually, I was reaching for this.
I love you too. He's out of here.
Terrific! Today we're in a different location because I'm not cooking anything. Today I want to talk with you about nutritional supplements. You may know what nutritional supplements are, or you might not be entirely sure. So we're just going to do a quick overview so we're all on the same page. So nutritional supplements are products that contain nutrients that are intended to supplement your diet. They are not intended to be a primary source of macronutrients or micronutrients. Supplements are commonly consumed orally, such as tablets, capsules, powders, or liquids. Other intake methods include injections or transdermally, meaning the vitamins and minerals are absorbed through the skin in patches or creams. The FDA classifies supplements with food, not medicine. So under the current guidelines, they cannot claim to treat, diagnose, or cure medical conditions. The FDA does regulate supplements, despite what you may hear about them not being regulated. But hold on a second. When you hear how the FDA regulates supplements, you'll see why some say there is no regulation. The way things work with supplements in the FDA is that when a supplement company creates a new product, they send a letter notifying the FDA that they're going to sell this new product and that it meets Consumer Good Manufacturing Practice, or CGMP, guidelines. They're basically telling the FDA, hey, we're making this thing now, FYI, but it's cool, we're following all the rules and making a safe product. Then this letter or form gets filed away at the FDA, and unless public consumers start filing complaints, no one at the FDA ever checks and makes sure that the product is safe or even has the actual ingredients in it that the company claims it does. And in case you're wondering if companies have ever been caught making a product that wasn't CGMP compliant, or don't have the claimed ingredients inside them, or claiming to do something they don't actually do, yes. Yes, they have. If a supplement company does these things and gets caught, they do face penalties, but you may be wondering why the system is set up this way. Over the decades, as the FDA started to strongly oversee pharmaceuticals in their whole process from beginning to end, consumers started to get worried that supplements would end up in the same tight regulations, which would then cause the public to need a prescription in order to obtain them. However, during the 1980s, there were a few particular crises around supplements causing health risks and health scares, such as the ephedra crisis in the late 1980s. So in 1994, they passed the DSHEA law, which there will be a link about in the description below. This all basically left supplements in this regulatory limbo where there is some oversight, but probably not as much as there should be. So we've gotten all this way talking about what supplements are and how they're kind of sort of regulated, but should you actually consider taking supplements if you can find a good quality one? If you're getting all of your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and vitamins and minerals through a whole foods diet, that's probably all you need. You don't necessarily need to include supplements to make sure that you're getting those in if your diet is well balanced. However, there are certain times in your life you might actually want to consider taking a supplement or two. A few key examples where you might want to include supplements for a short period of time would be post-surgery. Your body needs extra vitamins and minerals, or maybe isn't able to get protein through a full meal, that would be a good time to maybe include certain quality supplements to make sure that your body's going to repair the way it needs to repair. Also, if, say, you're sick at home, you might want to reach for certain supplements rather than over-the-counter medicines if you're trying to avoid those. If you've just finished a round of antibiotics, it's probably a good idea to supplement with a certain probiotic complex or certain products that include probiotics in them in your diet to reestablish a healthy microbiome. A woman who is pregnant or planning to become pregnant would likely benefit from including quality supplements into her diet. There are also instances where someone might consider taking supplements for a longer duration of time. In the adolescent stage, you might find as a parent that it's often difficult to get your kids to eat a healthy, balanced diet and since they're not eating as much, you might worry that they're getting the appropriate amount of vitamins and minerals as they should, so that might be a good time to include a multivitamin, multimineral in their diet. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, you might want to consider getting a good quality supplement of vitamin D and one of B12. While you may or may not have become vegan or vegetarian for purported health benefits, if you're not eating animal-based products, you're not getting in a sufficient amount of vitamin D or B12 because those typically come from animal-based food products. The elderly should also consider getting good quality vitamin D and B12 supplements. So with vitamin D, while we can still get it through our diet if we're eating animal-based products, we also all are able to absorb vitamin D through our skin when we come in contact with sunlight. As we age, we see a reduction in the amount of vitamin D we're able to absorb. Also, as we age, we see a reduction in intrinsic factor, a chemical in our stomach that helps us to absorb B12. While there are various long-term medical conditions in which a person might want to consider consulting a healthcare professional to find out what vitamins or minerals they should supplement with, there's a certain group that you may not have realized should also consider supplementing their diet. This is people who have gone through bariatric surgery. Bariatric procedure is where they take out a majority of the stomach as well as the first part of the intestine called the duodenum. Now the duodenum is responsible for the majority of our vitamin and mineral absorption. So after a procedure like this, one would likely be consulted to include a multivitamin, multimineral, as well as a calcium supplement in order to maintain proper health. And people who exercise probably don't need to include supplements. I know what you're thinking. You go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week on a regular basis, and a personal trainer has probably told you to include a protein powder after you work out and a multivitamin, multimineral into your routine. However, the studies have really shown you don't need to take in extra protein or those extra supplements in order to maintain optimal health because you're exercising. A professional athlete probably does, but if you're doing it on your own to maintain good health, it's really not necessary. Whether you're choosing to use supplements or you have a health situation in which you should consider using supplements, you want to make sure that you're getting a quality product. How can you know if it's quality or not? Well, there's a few key things that you can look for. One of the easiest ways to know that you're buying a quality product is if you see the logo from a third-party testing company on the label. Third-party testing is done by independent companies that have been paid to check and make sure that the product is of quality by making sure that the ingredients that are listed on the product are actually in the supplement, as well as those ingredients have been sourced responsibly. So if you see their logo on a product, you know it's going to be of good quality. Even if you don't see a third-party testing company's logo on the label, you can still go and search on that particular supplement company's website to find out if their product is of quality, such as looking at how they're sourcing ingredients or if they go through the process that they create their products through. If they're able to tell you what they're doing and where they're getting their ingredients from, that's usually a sign that it's of good quality. If they're hiding those things, you might want to avoid that product. Lastly, by reading the product supplements facts panel. If you see the active forms of vitamins and the most bioavailable forms of minerals, that's a sign that it's a good quality product. In addition to things that you can look for to make sure that you're going to buy a quality product, there are also things you can look for to ensure that you're going to avoid buying an inferior quality product. First and foremost, look at where the product is being sold. If you're buying directly from the company's website, that's better than buying from another online source. Big retail online stores, while I'm not going to name any names, some of them sound like a river or a forest, not naming any names. People can sell on there, and you don't know what they've done with it. Unlike a brick and mortar store, they don't have to follow CGMP guidelines to make sure the product hasn't been tampered with. Even though CGMP guidelines are something that supplement companies have to follow, if they're putting it on their product label, you might want to avoid it. While it's good that they're following it, that's kind of their bare minimum. So don't confuse that with third-party testing. If it's on their label, you just want to set it down and keep moving. You can also look at the product's list of other ingredients. This is usually found on the label underneath or near the supplement facts panel. Now, if this list is particularly long or longer than the list of active ingredients, then you might want to avoid this product. Additionally, if there are any of these additives that'll show up on screen now, you might want to avoid this product as well. There are also certain types of supplements that you should probably avoid, such as sexual enhancement supplements or weight loss supplements. While sexual enhancement supplements are often claiming on the label to have a proprietary blend of herbs and spices that create the reaction you're looking for, what's often been found when testing them is that they're laced with the pharmaceuticals that are prescribed for the same issue. So you're better off just avoiding them altogether. With supplements marketed for weight loss, they can range from having no effect at all to potentially having adverse health risks, kind of like the ephedra we were talking about. Also, supplements you should avoid will not use the active forms of vitamins or the most bioavailable forms of minerals. A good example of this is the body does a better job of absorbing calcium citrate, which is more expensive for a supplement company to use than the less absorbed calcium carbonate that's often found in antacids. We also need to talk really quickly and briefly about drug and nutrient interactions. There are certain nutrients that don't interact well with certain pharmaceuticals. So if you're on a medicine that you've already been prescribed, or you're using a supplement and then suddenly need to start using a medicine, you need to have a talk with your healthcare provider to make sure that you're not going to put yourself at risk. Now, as it's been touched on in kind of a roundabout way in here, you need to do your research before you buy a product. But how do you know that you're finding reliable information? Finding this video may be the start of your own journey in searching into supplements to find out whether they're right for you. A video like this or a search on Wikipedia is a good starting point. That's certainly not where your search should end. You should find reliable resources that come from colleges that are doing nutrition research, which have domains that end in .edu, or government-funded research through something like the NIH. Now, I want to just leave you with some final thoughts of mine. Outside of having a certain medical need or being in a life stage in which supplements can be of benefit to you, the science shows that you're better off getting those nutrients through a well-balanced diet of whole foods. So you can still choose to take supplements if you would like, and if you do, you need to make sure that you're getting a quality product to make sure you're actually getting out of it what you're intending to. I hope this video gives you a good start on how to evaluate supplements and whether or not you need to take them. In our next video, Heather is going to talk with you about how to get kids involved in cooking for lifelong healthy eating habits.